This is episode 199. It's a fun hip party when Alex is in bed.
Coming to you with the real questions like, do I really want to spend the rest of my life with Brian Gower? It's the tone control.
It's a hard-hitting episode.
Real gotcha journalism.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
There's three of us tonight. And well, all right, first things first. This is the tone control. Get used to it. And there's three of us tonight. We have a special guest right up here. I just redid all my graphics right before we started. Right here is Alex from Coppersound Pedals.
Wait, this side, sorry.
This side. Wait, yeah. I have a mirrored view and a not mirrored view on the different screen.
Whoops.
How's it going, Alex?
It's going really well. I appreciate you guys having us on again.
Of course, anytime.
Yeah.
So for the uninitiated, Coppersound, friend of the show for a super long time. We've done a bunch of episodes with you in the past, and we were texting like 2 weeks ago, and you said like, hey, it's been basically a year since the triple graph came out. Enough. We should recap a little bit. And I was like, you are correct. So that's what we're doing. We have a bunch of listener questions, some great questions, some dumb questions, and then some great dumb questions. No, they're all good. They're all good. It's going to be a good conversation. Unfortunately, Jordan isn't joining us tonight. He got held up with something, and I guess there was an interface in pieces from what it sounds like, which is not great. But
yeah, I don't know how elaborate it was, but in your head, it's probably even more epic than it was.
Okay.
So he was going to be calling in from yet a fourth location, right? So, but he couldn't work up his interface. Is that what it was?
Yes. The extreme technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Catastrophic technical difficulties. All right. Well, he'll be missed, but hey, the show goes on apparently. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, we'll have both of you guys on again sometime. I'm not worried about that. But before we dive into stuff, to just streamline the show a little bit, I thought we'd do Pedal Genie right here at the beginning and send them our thanks and our eternal praise, and then check out the demo that I made for the Hudson broadcast, which is up on YouTube. The live stream for that demo is on this channel, if you're watching this on YouTube, which is a weird thing to say in Discord when we're not on YouTube right now. But yeah, it was a fun demo. I capoed at the 4th fret because, like, why not? You know, like, screw it.
It was cool.
It was cool. Yeah,
it was cool. So, all right, so we're just gonna right at the top of the fucking show. We're gonna play the damn Pedal Genie ad, and Alex, get used to the butts.
Yeah, I hope you guys are ready.
Pedal Genie is like the Netflix of guitar pedals. Rent any pedal you want for as long as you want for one low monthly price. Shipping is included and there are no late fees or time limits. With over 1,500 pedals to try from nearly 100 different manufacturers, Pedal Genie definitely has the gear you want to try. Subscriptions start with Flex at just $19.95 a month. Try out one pedal at a time for as long as you want. Send it back when you're ready for the next one. For only $39.95 a month, the standard subscription includes shipping, so you could have a different pedal every few days. If one isn't enough for you, Pedal Genie Pro gets you 3 pedals at a time for only $64.95 a month. Shipping included. There's a subscription for everyone, and best of all, your first month is free. If you find the pedal of your dreams, the one you just have to keep, Pedal Genie will offer you a buyout option. Prices vary with the length of your membership and the type of pedal, but you'll definitely get an awesome price for the pedal in your hand. So head to pedalgenie.com to fill up your wish list with pedals, and they'll send out your first pedal ASAP. Pedal Genie, all your pedal wishes granted.
Well, okay, so fun fact, that's actually going to end up being the very first time that a butt got into the video of the show, because the butt's exclusive to chat on most shows since they just happen in chat, and we just silently react on camera usually. But Alex with the sneak attack.
Yeah, it was just sneaky.
This one had some full booty.
Yeah.
That's
it's
right.
Also, I mean, it's looking a little droopy on one side, but whatever. I'm not here to body shame.
I think this figure I drew like slept on one side weird. So
yeah,
it was one of those days.
Yeah. You ever just like sit weird and your ass falls asleep? It was that.
That sleepy ass.
Yeah.
All right. So
goodness.
So coming back over here, the broadcast.
Yeah, I had the
Wait, this
dual,
looks different than
I had the dual foot switch version.
the dual foot switch version.
Same circuit though. If you
there's a picture of it.
It's a different color, but yeah, that should be the same one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I loved this pedal. We talked about it last week or last episode. It's like preamp style overdrive, and it's kind of based on some broadcast consoles, but it is not like a direct to board type preamp overdrive like the color box is. This one totally slays. There's the bypass switch, and then there's the other foot switch is like the high gain, low gain toggle. And then inside there's a trim pot to set the gain ranges for either of those sides. And then on the face of the pedal is a gain control. So you're sort of setting the window that outside knob will affect.
Sure.
And then there's a low cut, a level for the low and a level for the high, and that's it. It rips. It's really, really cool. And I really almost bought it. I did not. But I do have a saved reverb search going, and if I see one at a really good price, I may do something about that. So if I hadn't bought the 1981 earlier this year,
not long ago,
I may have gone for it. But I mean, speaking of things we just bought, tomorrow I'm expecting a Keeley Fuzzbender in the mail. I just impulse bought a fuzz pedal for myself, kind of for my birthday. I got a great deal on it, and like a good enough deal that I could almost sell it and make $5 on it if I really wanted to. So anyway, yeah, the Hudson broadcast is as good as people say. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. It was very clear. I especially liked the part of the demo production stream where you were like, let's put some bass on this. Should I put the Hudson on the bass? This won't work. Clicks it on. Oh no, this is great.
It sounds awesome. Yeah.
It's like a great bass pedal. All right. Yeah. Playback.
Dotted eighth love. I was playing through a Marshall patch on my HX Stomp with that. I was using the HX Stomp pedal board for this one, not the full Helix thing. Mm-hmm. And it was good. It was good.
Awesome.
It was good.
Way to go.
Thanks.
Well, I will tell you that we've basically cleared our schedules now. This is 199. Yeah. I mean, this is like you said, what was it? A week or two ago, it was like, well, shoot. It's been a year since we've talked to Alex. But that doesn't mean we didn't come up with stuff to fill a whole damn show with. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, take it away, man. I'm over here pulling up a website. Is there other materials you wanted me to pull up? I saw something, but I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be for me or...
Those materials... We were talking about this earlier before you joined. Those materials are going to be exclusive to Discord tonight. Those are not going to be shared on your screen and not going to make it to YouTube. So this might be a thing that happens every now and then, people who are thinking about joining Discord. So if you're thinking about it, here's a good reason to join. There's some exclusive cool stuff happening. So I guess talk to us about how the last year has been. Like, this is not one of the questions I pulled from our socials and stuff. I just want to know.
So it's been kind of crazy. Jordan and I were going through and like jotting down everything we did. It was kind of, we got to a point where we were like, oh shit, oh yeah, that was this year. Like we did this and that. So for the listeners, it was 1 year ago, about a couple weeks ago, September 28th was when the pedal actually launched after its 4-year development. And since then, we've had a good amount of stuff happen in the last year. Some notable things would be, the first I have on my list is that the original order was going to be, I think it was going to be 300 units. So for listeners, we did a run of 100 limited edition yellow ones. I think you guys saw some of those in the beginning, right? With like the badge plates and everything. So we did 100 limited yellow, and they were going to start out with like 200 black. And it was in our last meeting with them, they upped it to like 400 just because we're trying to figure out what's going to make sense price-wise, cost, their cut, our cut, all that type of stuff. And now in this first year, we're 12 months past the release date. We've done over 1,500 units right now.
God, awesome.
Wow.
In the last 12 months, which is crazy for a shop of like a half a dozen people. So
that's great. I mean,
and to date, we still owe them another 1,500.
Oh my God. So yeah, like the order format changed. So now you can just get one, right? I mean, they're okay.
Yeah, so the very first run of them was thirdmanstore.com only, I believe. Right. It's getting a little blurry with like what was when.
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure everything was like Third Man only. Jordan and we had, I think when we recorded our episode, we didn't even gone down. I think we drove down before our episode, like that we did with you guys. We literally rented a van and drove down there.
Yeah. Loaded that was part of the story, I believe. Yeah. Rented a van. We just drove down there. It was amazing.
Right. Yeah. So, and that was like the first purchase order, which I think technically at the end of the day was like 500 or so. Like it's just crazy how much it's been upped. And historically, there was recently a podcast called the Third Men Podcast, which I've been on a couple times. The Kaminskis have been great hosts to us, and they do like an all Jack White nerd type of podcast. And they had Ben Blackwell on, which is Jack's cousin and one of the owners now, and they were saying that this has been the biggest release they've ever had for pedals, which is kind of insane to think about. You know, they typically, I think one of their purchasers said typically they order about 300 at a time of like a pedal or a Third Man hardware product, and we're getting between 500 and 1,000 for each purchase order, which is just nuts to think about.
So that makes me say, like, I was sort of about to somewhere in the episode work in like, tell me about the shop that's behind you, because you know this started like in a garage, and it looks like the same room that I've been seeing for years, and now you just told me you're getting orders of as many as 1,000. What does that look like? Are we scaling up at all? Does the camera, if you pan the camera around, is there a giant warehouse full of them or what?
I think that's been our running joke for me and like the guys for like the last year or so. Like somebody would come in that was like, hey, I got a triple graph and can I just come down for whatever reason? Like, sure, come on down. And they come into this 2-car garage and they'll be like, this is cool.
What?
Like, where's the factory with the guys in lab coats making it?
So where do you make the pedals?
Good. Yeah, so where do you make the pedals? It's like, well, you make them in here. Like
so good.
My infrastructure and space management has just been forced to be exponentially greater than I ever expected. Like over my shoulder, you can see like a couple different bread racks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That we're filling up with stuff. But yeah, we right here, we roughly occupy
These are my yellows.
Yeah. We currently occupy around 1,200 square feet. So
Good Lord.
It's like the size of my first apartment. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and almost half of that is like office and back stock and inventory that's going out and the shipping area. Then the other half is the actual like production area where you see behind me. So that's about 650 square feet. I just started building up, essentially like putting stuff into the walls and all the way up to the ceiling and stuff like that. Like maybe someday we'll do like a little tour, maybe I know,
Yeah.
Derek, you're closer to me. Like, we could do a
Yeah,
physical
that'd be cool.
one.
We could do
maybe,
it now that we
yeah.
have the YouTube presence. We could figure something out.
maybe some type of pre-recorded clip. But anyway,
Yeah.
we've had to like reimagine stuff because it's one thing to like stock X amount of parts, and then it's another thing to stock X amount of parts times 1,000. And
Yeah.
you guys have seen the triple. It's like it takes 3 of these things, and it's this big, and it's just the box is this big. Plus, the box has all the swag. Then there's the book. It's like, oh yeah, I
Yeah.
never thought about having 1,500 books in this place.
Yeah, it's not a little EP booster sized thing. Like it's a
Right.
big,
No.
it's a big piece of kit.
And they weigh a lot because it's all stainless steel
Yeah.
and aluminum. You know, so that's how we've had to scale. And I think Derek, you were asking about like, or Justin, I think you were asking about like our crew and stuff. Like, since we were on the show before, we were starting to have a few people with us, and right now, I think currently I think we generally have about 5 or 6 people in the shop per day. You know, depending on people's schedules. Like, they filter in either a morning shift or an evening shift. But
Okay.
yeah, we've essentially got like 4 people working with us between part and full time. So
That's awesome.
kind of crazy.
It's like, it's crazy to see the pedal popping up in my feeds that are not directly posted by you, right? To see it on Instagram on someone else's account, or to see like I follow a hashtag like pedal boards and it's appearing in feeds, and it's appearing in my YouTube feed. Like RJ just posted a video of it.
Yep.
I've
seen him come up on YouTube.
Yeah, I heard
there he
about
is.
it on I heard Rhett's story about seeing it at NAMM on Dipped in Tone. It was like, that's awesome. I know these guys. Oh my God, I know him. Right. And like, it's such a weird, like I knew it was successful. Right. And there's this extra layer of like, oh, other people are talking about it too. And like, I knew that was happening, but I'm seeing other people talk about it. And it's like this extra layer of just radical awesome. So congrats on the last year. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun. It's just like you said, it's crazy to see like the support that we've got from it and people's excitement for it.
Yeah, it's well, it's also like it's just a fucking awesome pedal. Like it's super practical too, and it's exciting. It's an exciting twist on the octave pedal space.
Yeah, which is actually very small. I think we talked about this maybe on the last show, but like octave clean, like digital octave space is incredibly tiny. You know, like there's a new overdrive while we're talking, but like there's not a lot of digital octave, so we're really fortunate to be in that realm, you know.
And yeah, so to sort of expand on that, like I because I'm a Helix person now, I just always think about Helix things and how like could you make the triple graph in Helix? And the answer is yeah, but it would take up so much DSP from the unit, it would limit the other things you can do with it. So there's still a space, and like, come on, look at the thing. Like, you know, you would still want this over doing it in software, I feel like.
Yeah, it kind of beckons the player to think differently about stuff and approach things differently, which is really cool to invoke something different out of them. You know, one of the other notable things, the first 100, which we had mentioned, was yellow, with the badge plate, and Jack signed a certificate of authenticity for it. Those sold out in the first day, and Jordan the whole time was like joking. He's like, first 100 gone the first day, just kind of like, you know, like a fun morale thing. It's like, nope, and they were gone, which was kind of crazy, like to see that, you know. So
that's awesome. So now let me ask you this: with boutique gear like this, that when there's a limited batch, like say the yellow ones, or even the early sort of inaccessible black version, when you see those on Reverb 2 months later for like 3 times the price. What does that do for you? Like, does that bother you? Does it excite you? You know, I'm curious because the yellow ones are very exclusive, and you see them coming up for a shitload of money sometimes.
Yeah, they were getting up there in like Centaur prices,
a little bit,
which is like almost offensive. Like, it feels like, I mean, but also at the same time, like, I guess a compliment. I think,
yeah,
like it's definitely a point of discussion. Like, this is almost like one of like the hottest topics, I feel like, in this world. I feel like it can be for a lot of boutique stuff, but just like our world of like flippers, like love it, hate it, are one of them. It goes against like the ethics of this person, or like, I think it's
been happening to a lot of to guitars and stuff like that for a long time. But just recently, like you're saying, it's expanded to the rest of the world. It's so many products and industries now are like under served, and they can't keep the product on the shelves, and it's been taking over in those scenes too. So it's like there's nobody that's not thinking about how it's hard to get certain items now. You don't have to just be a guitarist, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I see the whole limited one being more expensive as understandable, but it's like, I guess it's kind of the thing of like the King of Tone. You can pay the black market price if you want to essentially cut the line, you know, like and get it earlier. That's like the impatient tax type of thing. Like I feel like with the black one, it's like, dude, we're still making it. Just give us a few months. But if you want to pay, I feel like at the end of the day, I'm kind of in the boat of like, if a person charges 3 times what the street price is while we're still making it, that's like their prerogative. And like the only person that's going to stop them from selling it is if nobody buys it.
Right. It's a twofold thing, like asking that much, but also the person who pays that much is...
It's equally on them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like they asked for it, and they like if I asked you for like $1,500 for this unit and you paid it for me, it's not just my fault. Like you paid it. Like I mean, if you want to, that's fine. It's just like also we're still making them, and like we now, like you said, we have dealers and we have international locations, and London store just opened up in September. You know, so I don't know. I feel like we could talk about flipping for a while.
Yeah, we could. I think about it sometimes because I'm on the wait list right now for a Novo, and I'm seeing them come up. You know, one that gets posted on Instagram for like, this is being shipped out today. And then 6 weeks later, you see it on Reverb for like whatever it cost plus $1,000. And it's been sort of a conversation I've been hearing in various boutique spaces. So I was just kind of curious.
Well, and it sounds like, Alex, your perspective, because you're the first party in one of these that's getting flipped for huge markups. Your attitude is not one of despair about that. Like you don't feel ripped off about that.
No, I mean, we tried to make a good thing at a good price that's affordable for a lot of people for what it is. And
that price is working for you too, right?
Yeah, and both people are beneficial. And again, you can make the argument, dude, you guys could have sold these for $800 easily. It's like, I guess we could have, but it's also at the peak of this right now. So I guess it makes sense that the excitement's there. But that $399 price point was sexy for everybody, you know. And
right,
I don't think, again, if the person shells out that money, I'm not mad at the person selling it. You know, like they bought it. So one thing I will say when it comes to Reverb listings and funny stories that also segues into my next art thing. So that's a 3-way segue here.
Oh, wow.
In October.
Wow. Okay, let's do it.
In October, I forget the date. It was, I think, mid-October. Jack performed on SNL. And he performed with his 3-piece, him, Dom, and Daru. And he did a little bit of an Eddie Van Halen tribute in it. He did a mashup of 2 songs. Right. He also did Lazaretto. He had a limited edition on that because he did like a mostly yellow pedal board. After that performance as well, with like the eBay and listings and stuff, somebody put a black triple graph up for sale, and with one of like the clickbait things says, as seen on SNL.
Oh, come on. I love that, though. Like, that is such a sign of success, though, you know? Like, as shitty as it is that someone's asking, like, 3 times the price,
you
can't help but kind of love it, too, you know?
It felt really cool, too. Again, none of us have really been, like, on the SNL train, but it felt like because he was using it, it felt like a milestone, plus Bill Burr being a local comedian to us, like another reason to watch that episode. It just kind of felt like there was a little bit of a checkbox of you made it if you had something involved with SNL. I mean, it's a monster that's been going for almost half a century.
Yeah. So now what's going on these days? Like, I don't want to spill any beans, I guess, but like, talk to me about the pictures that you sent me. Can we get into that?
Yeah. The only other, I guess the only other thing I had for, like, I had a few different notes, but it's mostly for like some artists that have it and stuff like that. But why don't we get into some pictures for the people?
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
You know?
And these, as we mentioned a minute ago, these pictures are going to be exclusive to Discord tonight. So if you're thinking of joining the Discord, too late. But
although if you're
the kind of
posting
thing
them in Discord, they'll be viewable like tomorrow. You just have to scroll up a little.
Yeah. So come hang out in Discord and you'll get some cool exclusive stuff like this every now and then. But yeah, take it away. Tell us what's going on.
So yeah, I'm about to upload the first one. So the background story for this is when we have them made, they'll come in a friend of ours will cut them and print them in powder and all that stuff. And I reached out to him and I was like, hey, do you have any triple graphs that are like drilled and cut but not powdered yet? He's like, yeah. Can you send me 3 of them? Because I have powder set up here and everything. So I had him send it to me. And I was talking to Jordan about it, and I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool to make Jack a couple gifts for when we go down there to Nashville? And what I ended up doing was powdering them in-house, and I did a blue one. One of the ones I did for him was a blue triple graph I essentially made it. We made it for him, representing. It's the actual blue. I think it's this is where Jordan would be. I think it might be his actual like Pantone color for Jack White Solo. We got it from one of his old employees.
Nice.
So we made that, and I said to Jordan, I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool to take photos with these 3 that we're making and use the backdrop, the actual vinyl that I have here. So those are my actual vinyl records.
So nice.
This isn't a
Love
Photoshop
this.
We're looking at. It's like
no,
you put that thing on some records and took a picture. Yeah. That's so sick.
So it took a while to find the right lighting inside here, under shade, all that type of stuff. Like I think at one point it was like I had like a cardboard tent outside with Jordan, and there was a little bit of like touch up that he needed to do, but overall that's a full 90+% real picture.
Love it.
Very little editing.
Nice.
So that was one of the ones that we wanted to do. We thought it'd be cool to make that. And while I was in that mode, I thought it would be cool to do stuff for other projects. So the other one I did, I'm a huge Raconteurs fan. So the other one we did a copper based off the copper color from Broken Boy Soldier.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
You did.
In the
So
star and stuff.
because Jack's very color centric. So
Yeah.
Well, it's a whole identity. Like it's a whole brand almost, you know.
Oh, totally. Yeah. So we thought it would be appropriate. Like,
Motherfucker's named after a color.
Yeah. So we thought it would be great to do that. So like we saw them live and he was prototyping it when we saw him, like beta testing it. So we were like, oh, it'd be cool to do a Raconteurs one as well. So we were like, why the heck not? So same thing, lather, rinse, repeat. The albums are also in chronological order of release.
Love it.
So that was just another thing, and just to be involved with it. So we thought that was really fun. And this was the last one that we did. This one, when we gave it to him in Nashville, I said it was a little bit more symbolic because we don't expect the White Stripes to get back together.
Mm-hmm.
But
God damn it, they look so good. Like I saw you sent me this link earlier, and I was like, oh no, like it's happening, right? And they look amazing. Like I love it when pedal companies make different color options, whether it be for a store or just kind of one-off runs. It makes it feel like a collectible, and I'm excited to see what else comes out. Like I have the 1981 in the Stranger Things edition, but if a cooler one comes along someday, maybe I'll want to swap it out, right? And like I was getting that feel from this. Like I think the red one is my favorite. I don't know. I'm really torn between the red and the blue.
I think I'm going awesome. I think I'm going with Doug. The blue is my favorite one, even though I'm just so hard up on the racks. I love the blue one.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. So actually that's a good segue to one of the questions we got in the chat earlier. I'll just like skip ahead to that one. You guys are you're selling through CME now. You're at Chicago Music Exchange, which is super rad. Shops like that occasionally get exclusive colors. Do you guys have any plans to do stuff like that? Whether for them or another store?
We actually, right now, if you scroll through our Instagram feed, it's only been about a week or so. We sent them some gifts. We recently had a big order with them, and we sent them some shirts.
I'm on it, guys.
And we sent them some custom flashlights with their logos on it.
Oh yeah.
So we made an orange flashlight with a CME logo font, and Jordan actually turned the silhouette of Illinois into a guitar headstock shape. It's because it kind of is the headstock shape. So if you scroll through here, you can kind of see on the screen.
How far? You miss it.
Keep going a little bit more.
Click the link in Discord.
It's click the link in Discord. Oh,
it's not going to show you if you're not logged in, but click that link. It might bring you right to it.
Right.
Here we go. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So it's actually the headstock it like of the guitar is the shape of Illinois. Jordan got really creative with it. So we sent that to them, and they actually like sent us an email back. They were like, "What is up with this?" Because they got it, and I think they saw it online before they even got it. So we're in talks with them about doing a batch of those for them.
Cool.
So that would be like, I guess, a segue into like, us doing an exclusive thing with
a
CME.
way in. Yeah.
Love it. And you guys also just launched the custom flashlight option for normal people, right?
For normies.
For us nerds.
For you normies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just kind of like a give back type thing Jordan wanted to do, where like you could send in and submit your art and we would put it on a flashlight.
That's so cool.
Which we've done for some other companies.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Great. It's the perfect product for that kind of thing too.
Yeah.
It's the new pens.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Oh, yeah. So that's what's going to be going on with CME, and they've been a great shop to have. They've been
Cool.
giving us a lot of love, so that's really exciting.
Nice. Yeah, I love the video they put together. The local shop here, Manchester Music Mill, is carrying you guys now, which is great.
Mhm.
We were just talking about that last week, I think. So what do we want to do now? Do you want to get into some more questions? Do you want to keep talking about the stuff in this Google Drive?
You said you had a couple of artists
Yeah.
that were using
tell me about
Tripplegraph
that.
now.
Yeah. Before I mention those two, I guess I would also elaborate on the CME thing too. Again, talking with Jack as the color guy. We don't do alternate colors for our stuff here. Like you can't get a Foxcatcher in like green. Like we just don't do that stuff. Like we really are meticulous about like color stuff is relating to the product, and like we have the pickguard stuff, like the strategy and the
That
Broadway
was about
stuff.
what I was about to go bring
So
up. Yeah.
Okay.
we've got,
good point,
we've
good
got
point.
that for custom stuff. We've got flashlights and things like that, but like we don't do our production stuff. If we were going to do something, if you ever see something, you might say someday you see a white Foxcatcher, it's going to have like that orange copper color as like the knobs or the print or something. Like I kind of
still
think
on
back,
brand. Yeah.
yeah, we specifically chose that stuff for a reason. It's like, have you ever seen a timeline in purple?
No.
Like, have you ever seen the El Cap in red?
Yeah. And yeah, it's a good point. Like the brand identity is key. We were just sort of shooting the shit in the server about when this question about exclusive colors came in, and I had this idea. What would be rad is the base, like the dual series lineup, like Foxcatcher, etc., in flat black powder coat, but with a glossy, like all the lettering and the logo and stuff in the original color of the pedal. So like Foxcatcher would be that orangey, bronzy color, Polaris in the purple. That would be sick. Are you writing it down? Are you writing this down?
We have talked about stuff like that. Like if
that would be cool.
If we did limiteds, it would be something like that in that vein. We've had people suggest stuff or like, hey, I do this type of printing or this type of art or whatever. Would you guys be down to this? I'd be like, okay, try your thing, but make sure it's like this orangey copper color.
Yeah, right. You got to
like,
keep
that's what
that
it is.
thread through everything.
Something that ties back into the original thing. Everyone in the chat is threatening you with so much money about all this stuff. just in case, to note down for later. You don't have to do anything about it, but I'm just saying. Anyway,
Anniversary edition. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. We've tried to we've like focused on trying to do that as well. Like, hey, it's this many year anniversary of this, but also this last year has just been crazy. It's hard to do.
Orders
but yeah,
that big.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I will say I have an idea for a limited, like not limited like the yellow ones for Third Man, but I do have an idea for something with Third Man that has a color that I'm going to propose them in a year or so.
Awesome.
But anyway, so I want to get to the list of some fun, notable people that have got the triple since it's been out. So amongst that list, for top of the list, Jack Black.
Wait a minute.
That'll work.
You're telling me that Jack White and Jack Black have one of these things?
Yep, they both have a gray one.
So now, like, how does that work? Do you have Jack Black's mailing address right there?
A gray one.
Tell me, like, do you have Jack Black's mailing address? Is that how this works? Like, did he just order one and you sent it off like it's no big deal?
Maybe.
Okay. Moving on. Continue.
Okay, so Jack Black's got one. The next one, this person I don't think is a household name, but I think his name is French, so it's hard to pronounce. It's Steve. It might be We Met. Like it's Ouimettee. Jordan's had more correspondence with him, but Steve does the music for like the NFL, like
cool.
Guitar Hero, all that type of stuff. Like he's like
he's
one of
here
those
as like Ubisoft music.
Yeah, like that type of like you might not know his name, but like you've probably done something involved.
He's done it all. Awesome.
That type of thing. So which is really cool. Next on the list we've got two demoers. Pete Thorne, which you guys may have seen Pete's video that he did. He's a great player, and Andy Martin.
Yeah.
Andy Martin's got one as well.
Too.
So both great players, great videos. Next on the list is Sky Van Hoff. He plays in a band called Rammstein, depending on how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I guess industrial, right? They're kind of like an industrial band, right?
Yeah, it's the
very heavy.
Good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Another notable one is, I think, at least we did not send this to him directly, but I think Jack had mentioned sending it to him. Tom Morello
Of course.
allegedly has one.
Sure.
Again,
Obviously.
I just assumed that.
yeah, I think we all did. I think
you're building them. You're like, set this one aside for Tom, obviously.
Yeah, I think we came into the shop one day and one was missing in the line. It was a note said Tom took one.
Very cool.
The last one that we could think of on the fly, so apologies for anybody listening, was Casey Crescenzo of the Deer Hunter has one as well.
Awesome. Naturally.
Nice.
What a guy.
I traded some stuff. I traded a thing for him. We've been talking on the reg, and hopefully we'll have a pedal together at some point.
I just saw his guitar company launched a few models like in the last week or two.
Yeah, I was going back and forth with him. He had me pick out some model finishes and stuff like that with him. It's been really fun.
Yeah, they look great. We can talk
Really
more
cool.
about that next time, I guess. But yeah, they look like some cool stuff and pretty affordable, which is great too.
Totally. Yeah, that could be a good note for another show for you guys.
Note to self, episode 201.
Yeah, so
Do not take a break. That you said you said a very funny thing. Apologies to everyone listening because you couldn't think of anybody else. Were you going to try to mention everybody that has one out of the thousands that have been ordered? All the listeners, I mean, like, because I just wanted, in case you had a misconception about the tone control, Jack Black is not a listener of the tone control.
Well,
at
you
least
don't
not
know
regular.
that, Justin.
I suppose I just know that I think that if Jack Black was listening, he would have told me.
Maybe he's one of these, nameless, faceless patrons that we never hear from. Maybe
That won't send us their address.
Won't send
That's
us
why
their
you were
address.
trying to get Jack Black's address out of Alex.
That's true,
'cause we're
yeah.
trying desperately to get him on the roll.
yeah, one of the names on
Okay.
here secretly says parentheses. It's actually Jack Black. Okay. Anyway,
Anyways,
that's a great roster.
Yeah, it's great to see the reception. Obviously, there's other players and people in the industry that have it, and it's been really cool to see. So we're super blown away by that. I guess this would take us time-wise halfway through this year, roughly, would be Summer NAMM, which I think, Derek, we had talked about our booth a little bit, and we've had pictures online. So for listeners, again, you can see the stuff on like Instagram if they're following at home or anything like that. But for the Summer NAMM show, Jordan had the idea of essentially turning it into like a history display for the thing. So
Yeah, this is what I heard about on Dipped in Tone, and
Yeah.
Rhett was going on about how awesome the display was, and like the museum aspect of like the history of the triple graph.
Yeah, so what we did was we broke it into two like shadow boxes, like kind of like you'd see on the wall for like a football jersey at like a sports bar, right? Like that size, but it was laying flat, and I actually had to modify almost the entire thing, so it was kind of a headache there, but it turned out really nice. And on one side we had the digital side of things, and on the other shadow box we had the analog side of things, or like the aesthetic and all that stuff. And we essentially looked through everything we had, from a piece of paper through an actual like maybe original hardware through what it ended up being. So like a proof of concept from a drawing into like the first round, into the second round, into the third revision, into the final thing. And you get to see all of like the different pieces of the puzzle essentially come together. Like you'd see original artwork, then the modified one, and then what the final artwork would be. You'd see like the arm all straight, the original one that was plastic, all the way up through what we had fabricated. And then like on the digital side, we had the original breadboard in there. We had the original dev boards. We had like pieces of code that we were working in. We had like audio path drawings and stuff like that. Like a whole entire museum essentially for the pedal, which I think it was definitely one of those things like I think some people maybe missed or didn't get, but the people that saw it, they really liked it, you know? Like Rhett said on his show, he really appreciated that side of it.
It's very cool. I mean, so much gear out there is just sort of out there, and people don't really think about how it came to be.
Mm-hmm.
So to have that story, which is such a great story, and there's a very clear narrative to it, to be able to display it it's like the perfect case. So awesome.
Yeah. So while we were down there too, to segue into Nashville, because we seem to be there a lot now. While we were in Nashville, Jordan and I originally had the idea, and we proposed it to them. I'm going to upload a picture right now in the chat of a fun aerial that we took while we were down there. Jordan had his drone while we were in Nashville. So when we were getting ready to go down, we had proposed to Third Man. We were like, hey, we want to film a documentary about the Triple Graph, about like what the last 4 years was for us, like for people in the shop, people that had helped the manufacturing side of things and all that, and like essentially make a full, I don't know how long it's going to be, but a full documentary
like
about
a feature-length thing, yeah. Yeah,
so we wrote up a proposal to Third Man, and we sent it in about what we were thinking, and we were like, hey, would Jack be down for this? And we heard back, and they were saying, essentially for like, I think the last year or so, Jack has been specifically not doing like much interview or by way of interviews, and he actually said he'd be down for this. So that was really cool. So Jordan and I were like, okay, cool. He said, yeah, we're going to be down there for about a week. So, you know, we're getting everything ready for the NAMM show because that's still going on. You know, Jordan's designing banners. We have to bring a rug down there. We've got to do all this traveling. And so also while we're doing it, we're building the friggin' things, you know. So there's that aspect of it. So they said, yeah, Jack wants to do it. So we're going to go down there. And Jordan and I were like, hey, let's go down there extra long so that we have a full like 10 days. So whenever Jack's schedule opens up, we can do it. We didn't hear back from them. We're getting ready to go down to NAMM. And I think it's July 15th and 16th this year. And they were like, hey, Jack will give you 2 full days. We're like, oh, wow. He's available.
Let me guess when.
Yeah, he's available the 15th and 16th. It's like, oh, damn it. So we had to like live in 2 different worlds. So while we were down in Nashville, we set up the cameras and everything, and they were like, hey, we're pretty full down here, but you can set up in Jack's office. So we set up in Jack's office like the day before, got all the angles and everything. It's amazing how long it takes to essentially move a chair and 2 cameras and lights.
Yeah.
To get like the lighting and like the angles. And Jack's got so much cool stuff in his office too. So it's like, oh man, this would be cool to have. But anyway, we get to set up in his office and we get to do NAMM, and I think we have to leave each day like a couple hours early and just run over to Third Man, which is literally like you can almost see it from the convention.
Cool.
So we go over there and we're starting to film there with them, and that'll be like the heart of the documentary will be Jack's filming.
Cool. And when can we expect that? Do you know yet?
Sometime between now and my death.
Okay. Good. Looking forward to it.
It's a
Awesome.
it's going to be a ridiculous. Jordan literally bought a camera to do do we didn't have a camera, and we kind of had to learn it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Wow.
You know,
It's a lot of work, but I'm sure it's going to be great. Like the minute you mentioned that to me, I was like, well, I know what I'm going to do. Like I'm immediately looking forward to it. So
yeah,
can't
we're really excited for it. We filmed a lot while we were down there. So in the chat, I'm going to be uploading some pictures that Jordan took while we were down there. But yeah, we kind of just tried to go everywhere we could. And before giving Jack the gifts, what we did was we went around to like some historic places that we could find, or places that looked really cool. And we took pictures through like historic Nashville and got all of these because we were like, oh man, we're gonna be giving Jack these gifts and we're not gonna have them anymore. So we might as well take as many pictures as we can.
Right. Awesome.
So
This is great, man.
I'm gonna upload a few of the ones that we took down there before they were
Justin,
gone.
don't share those special ones.
All right. I was about to.
This is some exclusive listener and fan Patreon only shit.
All right, so there's a question in here that I think this is a good okay place to insert this. Someone asked, how has this collab changed business for you, and do you feel like you're better known as a company to non-gearheads? So, and I'm gonna kind of interpret that like, this isn't the only pedal that you make, and so obviously Triple Graph was the big news over this past year, but there's been lots of awesome releases, and these pedals are still, as I've been cycling the website and stuff, I'll go back to it now, but they, there's lots of great stuff here. How is that all, like, is the whole company coming up, has the steering wheel really changed and now we're kind of doing this, and how do you feel about that?
It definitely helped like solidify the brand. It helped solidify like more of a household type of name for us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I guess having Jack's name and Third Man's name on anything doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It's definitely helped solidify for us, like, just that brand awareness and people like paying more attention, I think, to us now. Like Derek said, other than the people that were already on the train that are really nerdy.
Yeah.
So that's been great. Like, people that didn't know about us know about us now. Since going to Nashville, since having this release, we've had dealers domestically and internationally pick us up because of this, and then in turn also get our other stuff as well, because they like us as a company, not just, hey, can I get that one that the guy that likes 3 does? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, but we have had those, which is fine, because if that company buys a Triple Graph from Third Man, we supply it for Third Man, so it's a win. It'd be nice if they get everything, but they win, we win. So that's kind of the way I've looked at it. It definitely is. One of our employees today was joking, like, we were talking about Triple Graph, and they were like, "It's the pedal that gave us a job."
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool way to look at it. Like, we had more orders than we've ever had ever since NAMM and the release of it, and people being excited about it and getting more of our stuff as well. And again, just it really like put that notch in our belt. And I think since reaching out to new dealers, since having this, it's such a great like I'm failing on the word to say, but having this in our back pocket of like, hey, we are interested in your store, would you guys want to pick us up? And having this as one of like your things,
yeah, it's like ammunition. Yeah.
Oh, so much. Like, it's cool having our stuff. Like, every time you have a new pedal, it helps solidify a brand, a form factor, an identity.
So it's funny is like stuff. I still sometimes see the strategy or is it Broadway? Broadway. Yeah. I was confused with broadcast. Yep. I see those on other feeds occasionally. Like, I saw the strategy; it's on screen now. I saw it in a Helix group that I follow, and people were like, "Look at this thing," and it was just the photos of it just float around the internet, and no one seems to believe that it's real. Right?
The allure of the strategy is almost like the internet owns its like essence of, does it exist? Like, it's still going around.
I commented like, guys, like, this is a really, it's here. I sent them the link. I'm like, this is it. Like, you can buy one.
It looks like what somebody would do if they were going to come up with a Photoshop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I released that like 6 years ago or something.
Eric is saying it comes up in the Wampler Facebook group every now and then. And yeah, it's just sort of like, oh yeah, there's that thing. Like, and that was to me like the first, like, I see it around. Oh, I know the guy who makes those. And now the Triple Graph is like that times 100. It's look at this thing that we have. Like, it's like as the ammunition for sort of street cred, I guess.
The Triple Graph though has more documentation at face value of what it is, who makes it, where it is, that type of thing. Whereas the strategy, other than like a logo and it looking like a historic piece of gear, like there's not much there. Doug in the chat was saying, has it driven sales in other pedals? I'm assuming he's talking about Triple. And it has, like, because if a company sees us, if a company sees us and picks up the whole line, plus they get some Triple Graphs, that helps everything, and people, it's like, if they find out about our regular stuff by means of another collaboration, that's still cool, and that's a great thing.
That's exactly what you want. Yeah. When
it comes going back to just like they win, we win. Third Man presented at the NAMM show. They were right next to us at the kind of the reason we went down there, other than documentary rapport, was like they asked us if we were going, and we were like, it'd be fun to go and be like NAMM, like next door neighbors at NAMM. But Third Man actually, some NAMBers. So Third Man pulled in 2 NAMM awards for the Third Man hardware side of things, which kind of like under the Third Man Records moniker. They picked up 2 awards. One was Gotta Stock It, which I think is kind of like it makes sense, like
must have,
like kind of that type of thing. And they also got an award for Companies to Watch, which is cool for a company's first ever outing. Whatever that means, take it for what it is. But it's cool to be acknowledged for a couple things on your very first show.
Mm-hmm. Totally, yeah. And you guys are there supporting that, and your hardware is the one that's making them the one to watch.
Yeah, we had the stuff right up front and center, or we didn't do any of that. Like they did, and they put Triplegraph right up front and center. It's because again, it's their newest piece.
And I mean, like it looks like it's from outer fucking space. Like it's, like you see it, and I separate who makes it and who like is collaborating with it and stuff like that. It's a crazy looking piece of hardware. So anybody who's into gear is going to want to know what this is. So on its own, it's eye catching, and then you're adding in like, oh, it's Jack White, it's Third Man, it's Coppersound. Like there's all this extra stuff on top, which is really, really sweet.
Yeah.
Let's do another question. Are there going to be any updates to existing pedals, like a version 2, or you're working on any sort of like Foxcatcher V2 or any circuit changes?
In Discord, I can't remember if it was my idea or somebody else's idea, but the Triplegraph caused the version 2 of the
the Telegraph stutter.
Of the Telegraph stutter. Like essentially the built-out hardware, the stronger hardware version, is the Telegraph going to get re-released with its with
the new hardware,
with its new generation of switches.
It's boot-ready hardware.
So on.
Yeah, that is definitely the plan. We strategically discontinued the Telegraph like right around the time, right before it came out, just to help not confuse the market, and also I think it was time for it to go away. And we wanted to like usher in this new thing and like let dealers have at the last of them. I think we put out a thing saying, hey, we're going to discontinue it. Does anybody want any more? And we unanticipated, and we got 200 units on order for the Telegraph because people love them. They're a great price point. It was kind of the thing that put us on the map.
Yeah.
And we made those. We sent them out to our dealers, and like this thing came out, and yeah, it's definitely with the hardware that we created, like locally, like that proprietary hardware, we're going to incorporate on a V2, using it with ideally at least 1 or 2 new features that weren't on the original one, because the original Telegraph was just a kill switch or an anti-kill switch, however you want to refer to it, as like kill sound or make sound appear from nothing. So
undead sound,
the undeadener. So yeah, we have plans. What the other features are going to be, we're not sure of yet, but we definitely want to incorporate that hardware into it for sure.
Love that.
And yeah, and also to go back to the question from your listener, the V2 thing, we're in works for stuff for V2. I've been trying to like update all of our stuff, our current ones, V1s, like just give better updates on the circuit board side of things for all the builders in here, because everything needs to be like really clean and turnkey for everybody, and just get for me better as a designer and a layout creator. But we do have plans for V2. I guess we're in a fortunate state where it's like, we have so many orders still coming in for the stuff we currently make that I'm never upset that I can't make a new thing because people want the thing that currently exists.
Good problem to have. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we also have plans for a new lineup of pedals as well. So kind of like, it won't be in the Duet series form factor. It would be a different thing. And we're running into Three Stooges syndrome, where all of the things are trying to get through the door at once.
Yes.
So all of these ideas, it's kind of it's like we work in a democracy here, but it also kind of unintentionally, the things across the finish line just happen to. So it's like, we'll have 3 things in the queue of like, oh, these are really close to getting done. Then all of a sudden one day out of nowhere, hey, I got this thing done and the circuit board is done and the hardware is done and everything's done. Oh crap, that's the one. That's the one. And we didn't plan on that. Like, I thought we were going to do this first. It's like, we're at the, you know that game where you like shoot the water pistol and the horse goes across the screen in a gallop?
Yep.
It's all of those different ideas about to come out. It's just, it's hard to pinpoint one. And also, again, we're so busy with building orders and dealers and stuff like that. We have a distributor in Japan that picked up 200 pedals and half of them were pickguard things. And those are like handmade, like fully.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, I'm not mad at people wanting the stuff that we made that came out 5 years ago. And they still want it, which is really cool.
So continuing with the new pedals thing, I got this question twice, actually, and I guess the third time if you're counting directly from me.
Mm-hmm.
You can just answer this in a simple yes or no, and we don't have to talk about it anymore. Will there be a Coppersound delay pedal? Or you can go into it if you want. It's up to you. This is your show.
The answer I'll go with the answer I go with for this question. There'll be a delay pedal when we're able to do it the way we want to do it.
Okay.
So that's about all I can give. You know, the other thing to elaborate on. So part 2, we've always. I'm not going to answer this. Here's 2 parts, Derek.
I'm not going to answer this. And let me tell you why. Part A.
Yeah. Part A of why I'm not answering this. So we've often referred to generally the two, like we think in here generally, again, this is all open to interpretation and your ideas on it. 2 of the hardest effects to do really well and properly in the way you'd want to do with features and stuff. Clean octave, which somehow we just pulled off after 4 years, and really good delay with really good features. I think those are, in my opinion, 2 of the hardest effects in our industry to do. Maybe really good
features
compression
is the key there, because you could just make a delay pedal, but everybody just makes a delay pedal. And what's going to make yours special and not just falling into the sea of other delay pedals is kind of the point. So yeah, okay, good answer.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. Remember we were saying like there's a lot of overdrive and stuff and it's crowded at the bottom, but for like when it comes to like stuff that's harder to make, like octaves and stuff, there's almost nobody there. There's more good tap tempo analog delay pedals than there are octave pedals that are clean.
I just got the Mythos Oracle tap tempo analog bucket brigade delay. It kicks. It's awesome. I love it. Stay on the board forever. And like to fall into that space is like
sure.
Yeah.
What else does it have, you know?
It's tough. So right now I saw that, just to answer Doug's thing, I think it was Doug or somebody mentioned, we were talking about Nashville, their first show they ever went to was the Ryman Auditorium. And part of our documentary actually is about the Ryman.
Oh, look at this. Yeah.
Jack had performed like a 3-day filming at the Ryman, and a couple days before it sent us the pedals. He was like, hey, these are the issues we're having. Can we fix this? We have a 3-day stint at the Ryman. Well, fuck me. Holy shit. Like, you know, so part of our filming for the documentary is going to be talking about this. You can actually see Jordan here, anybody watching, that Jordan actually has the prototype that Jack.
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't look
used.
Quite the same. Yeah.
Nope, that one's like somebody copied the homework a little different.
Yeah, use your own words. Yeah.
So that was one of the parts. Was like that was a huge part of the story, like a 24 to 36 hour turnaround to get working prototypes with updated hardware and stuff back, you know, to them for that stint, you know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, just a sort of follow-up question, I guess. Now that the triple graph is out and it's been a year and we're like, it's still, I know you guys are catching up on orders and it's still crazy, but like this is the thing now. This is like the new normal. I hate that saying, but it's like the, you know, this is the future of Coppersound basically. Do you feel any expectation to come up with something even crazier than the triple graph?
Like a delay, for example.
A 3-octave delay. No. But I mean, like, you must, like, you kind of just answered this with the delay question, whereas like, there's so much to do. It's hard to find time maybe to think of new crazy things, but I'm sure you also have a to-do list, a wish list.
Well, like I said, the whole Three Stooges joke, like we have so many ideas in the chamber. And again, it's objective. And I don't know if like anything's going to be better than a collaboration with my favorite artist, of all time.
Okay. Yeah. Good point.
So that's a thing. But again, it's the show is going to continue for us as our own entity. Yeah. We have a lot of ideas. I wouldn't say any of the stuff that we're coming out with is, if you have to grade it on a curve of being the triple, I don't think anything we have in the pipeline necessarily is going to be as good as that. But at the same time, if you don't care for octave and we come out with a really cool preamp, arguably that's a better product for you. So I think we have some really cool ideas that are different than are on the market. We have some that I think share a space in the market, and we've got a new series of things. We've got some V2 ideas that I think are going to be really cool and again, that's like a somewhat small of a legacy, but a legacy that we've created. So having a V2 of our own thing is really cool as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm curious about like the V1 market then. What happens then, right? You see this all the time where like pre-Gibson Mesa Boogie, like that kind of stuff. Like a V1 Polaris. Oh, this is the good one.
yeah, obviously. But obviously we have ideas for V2 and we want to keep making our own thing. At the same time, like I said, we still have 1,500 triple graphs to make, and like that's kind of like
let's get out from under that first.
That's our big client, and that's not really stopping. So it's. I think I said the other day in the shop, like if triple graph didn't happen over the last 4 years before it even came out, we probably would have had at least 6 new products. But But here's the thing, and I won't say specific numbers, but to date, we've sold like 600 Foxcatchers, and that's like our biggest selling duet series. It's kind of like the spokesperson for our lineup, right? And kind of like the flagship, if you will. And I was on the phone with Jordan, and again, I won't say any numbers here, but we've pulled in more financially just from triple graph than we have over the last 5 years of Foxcatcher. So you have to take that into consideration. It's like, and I don't want to be like, oh yeah, they're the cash cow type of thing, but like,
well, yeah,
this thing paid off. This thing has paid off for having it be us having to take a back seat, so to speak, of being able to release as much as we would like to has paid off in the long game. I mean, between triple graph starting in 2016 and being released in 2020, we technically had Polaris come out. We had Loma Prieta. We did the Captain Hook limited edition. We did a ton of stuff still. But again, that kind of got diminished by the amount of R&D we had for such an elaborate thing. So I guess if we're going to do a delay, we'll see you in 12 years.
Awesome. That's great. I love to hear that.
I thought this is probably a dumb thing, but that's kind of my job on the show. Hi, everybody. I'm Justin. So,
King Dumb Thing, Justin.
Yeah. So, when you make the V2, what I'm wondering is like from the perspective of a pedal builder, because of we see all these pedals, and it's always the old version, right? The old version is sought after. So when you make your V2, do you know ahead of time which parts you're going to make worse so that your V1s are more sought after? Or is that something that you just like mess up in the moment? Do you plan that?
Yeah, see how the spirit moves you.
Yeah. What should I fuck up in this? Because I really want to maintain the mystique.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent, Justin, of pre-planned obsolescence. So it's really easy for us.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
Instead of adding the magic diodes, we just do the opposite of whatever that is.
We just say they were there the whole time, even though they weren't.
Exactly.
That's so great. That's great. So I have another question. My other question was like, obviously, what are you working on? But I think we know the answer to that now. But let's see. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I've got two. This one kind of goes into what we're talking about. So this question was, will you guys ever release the Fox-only side of Foxcatcher as an individual pedal?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Sans the gravity bomb.
Exactly, yeah. So I won't... I've said a lot of things so far that you could put together the pieces of, but the short answer is yes.
Ooh.
All right.
All right.
We'll see. Yeah, we're working on something. Like I said, the whole horse analogy with the water pistol, I like to think of it as when you're downloading 12 songs at the same time and they're all kind of downloading.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like, oh, well, right now I've got this part done. I'm going to jump over and do this and then that.
Yeah.
You know, because people always talk about it, but also at the same time, to be honest, and I'm sure a lot of people are, whether they realize it or not, are guilty of it. We'll get people like, hey, if you guys ever did this, I'd be down for it. And then you do it and fucking crickets come out of nowhere. They're nowhere to be found. It's like, hey, dude, what's up? You said you wanted this. If we can do it, we can do it. Let me hit you back up.
Yeah,
I'll talk to you later.
Lying. I just wanted
That's
to
the
see it on my
difference.
Instagram.
Yeah, that's the difference between an unsolicited request and a pre-order.
Exactly. It's like, you know what? How about a non-refundable deposit and then tell me how much you want that?
Did you want to take my my triple graph light, my triple graph mono from last episode? Unigraph, whatever we called it.
Yeah. Monograph or something like that. It was a cool idea, and you know, people have asked us about that type of thing, and I think it kind of goes back to, we've had this conversation, Derek, I think, whether over the phone or on a podcast, about not confusing the market. Like,
Yeah.
I mentioned it with like the strategy. I do not want to hear the conversation of which one do you have. Oh, I have the course. I have the phaser strategy. Because people have asked like, hey, can I get a tune-up phaser in my strategy? It's like, we don't do that because we don't want to confuse the market of like, hey, this one is a wah pedal and this one's a preamp. And, oh, this Broadway's a treble booster, but the one I have is a flanger. Oh, but the one I have is like a 2-stage overdrive. It's like, I didn't want to just have it be a cool shell and then you put whatever you want in, outside of the fact of the infrastructure in here of having all those different circuit boards.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you can do the cool thing with that pedal of the finishes, right? That's the variable on those. Like you can customize it to match your guitar.
Totally.
So,
We had a fun moment too when somebody was like, oh, the triple graph's so cool. If it had a fuzz in it, I'd be down. It's like, you can have a fuzz in it if you want in the middle loop.
Yeah,
you can have anything you want.
Yeah. Guess what?
It's like, I wanted to be like,
great news.
yeah. It's like, hey, what's your favorite type of fuzz? Oh, I really like tone benders. Awesome. It's got one in the loop. As long as you have one.
Yeah.
If you really like them, you probably got one at home already. So
Exactly.
Okay. Shall we move on to the sillier of the question? Oh, wait, no, I have one more serious question.
Cool. I think I also on my end, I have one more question and then I just have a couple last photos for the group.
Okay, so let me ask this first. Is there a recent piece of gear that has come out that has you really excited?
yeah, he's been talking. It's called the triple graph, Derek. What's the matter with you?
Recent. Like, have you seen anything in the gear news lately where you're like, that's cool, right? Something that, or do you, side question, do you even pay attention to gear news because you're so up to your eyeballs in all of this?
It's tough. I guess a little of both. There's obviously a ton of guys in the shop and all of us are nerds. So people will be like, oh, did you see the new blah, blah, blah? And it's like, oh, that's really cool. And sometimes I'll keep up with it. But like, there are days on end where it's like my engagement with social medias is engaging back with people, creating pictures and content and stuff like that, where I'm actually putting out more than I am downloading. You know, I'm not just sitting there scrolling. I'm not just looking at stuff. If I'm on there, it's to engage or to post our own things and like create our own content and stuff like that. So I rarely see stuff now. I'm trying to think because, you know, we have a lot of friends and I can't like going back to what you said with Casey's Cave and Canary guitars are really exciting. I really do like those. I think those are going to be really cool. Again, that's part of it is a little bit of a fanboy thing there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Anything Caroline releases, I'm excited to see. Caroline Guitar
Cool.
Company. So,
Nice.
but I can't say I have something specifically that struck a chord that I'm like, oh man, I'm really excited for that. I'm sure there is, and I'm just dropping it right now. Like you said, Derek, I feel like we're so up to our eyeballs of the stuff that we're making that I can't keep up with like the most recent news.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's a perfectly legitimate answer. I mean, like we do this show because we look at gear news all the time and then we just talk about it on the podcast. So like as a builder, it's obviously you're looking at it from a completely different perspective. And
yeah, I want to be involved and aware and up to date on what's going on in the community. I think that's a big aspect of it as well. And just trying to be like, what's going on in your community is an important thing. But at the same time, I always think like, you know, I could scroll and read online and look at like other companies' things for like an hour, or I could put that hour into making my own thing and
Good
putting
point.
that out into the world. And like, there's
Your
time
own
for that.
delay pedal. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could be in bed for like a half hour and I could be like, I could just scroll through a feed right now, or I could look up some suppliers and stuff and, hey, where can I get this for this? And that's generally what I do. So
Yeah.
it's a really fun hip party when I'm in bed.
Whoa. All right.
Justin, you're welcome.
Yeah.
My bell was a little out of reach. Sorry.
That's going to be it. That's going to be it. Sometimes you just know.
What did you say? I didn't write it down. I was scrambling for the bell. It's a fun time when I'm in bed. Is that what
It's a real fun party when I'm in bed.
It's a real
something to
fun
that
party
effect.
when Alex is in bed. Okay. We have a lot of titles this week, folks, so hold on to your butts for later. Okay, on to the silly questions. Oh, wait, did you have one more, Alex? I can't remember. I'm all over the place.
He had more pictures to share.
I had one more question and just a couple pictures for the listeners as well. So a couple other documentary pictures. Jordan was able to get some screen grabs for stuff for the documentary. This next one I'm uploading is taken from the diner downtown Nashville.
There he is
with Nashville in the background. That was on like a ledge, like a corner ledge where like splat if you go over the edge type of thing.
Whoa.
And here's a quick story for that. And Jordan's going to be, I think remiss might be the word if we don't talk about it. And anyway, when we were filming that was actually during it being clear. The first day we went to film, we had torrential downpour.
Oh, no.
And Jordan's camera and like backup hard drive has all of Jack's documentary interview that we filmed at Third Man in his office. And we had like a bag and a trash bag and stuff. And we were stuck downstairs in like the walkway and like literally like waiting for monsoon. At one point, let's just say at the end of the day, I had newspapers in my shoes to dry them out in the hotel.
Oh, no.
So that was a ridiculous day, but we were able to get a ton of footage through drone and on foot and different camera footage. At one point, we actually went to the Nashville Electric Company, which is outside of it's like in the outskirts of Nashville. Nashville's a huge fucking city. Mm-hmm. It's out in the outskirts. It's actually the location where Jack filmed or did the pictures for the Blunderbuss album from 2012.
Cool. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually found that based off the artwork on the back of the vinyl. And we went there and we filmed a segment for Third Man there. We filmed some pictures there. Really cool, like old building that's got these wires and everything in the background. If you look at the picture, I don't know if you guys can blow it up on your end, but if you look at this one that I just posted.
This one here.
Yep, the one with Jordan and me. Yep. If you look above Jordan's head, you can see kind of like the power lines and stuff.
Yep.
I don't know what they're called. They kind of look like the thing that make the squirrel not go to the bird feeder.
Yeah.
But there's 3 blue ones there, and we don't know why. We're wondering if it's because of Jack. Yeah, so we're wondering if because since Jack did a picture cover there and everything, like if somebody in the chat looks up the Blunderbuss album, like the back cover of it, you can see Jack in front of the Nashville Electric Service. It's just so weird. Jordan pulled me in the office the other day. He was like, "Hey, remember this place?" I was like, "Yeah." We never
Justin,
noticed
zoom back in on that for a second.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Jordan's arms? Look at this guy. He's blowing out of that shirt. Dude's friggin' shredded.
It's all the pedals, man.
Yeah, it's just lifting triple graphs all day.
He said those are stainless steel.
Yeah, right?
So, I mean, if we want to know the answer to this, my dad is an electrician. I can call him and be like, why are these blue?
Yeah,
He'll probably be like, I don't know, some
those,
weirdo who plays guitar probably. Put him up there.
Yeah. Those are non-standard.
Yeah.
Your dad gets on the phone. He's like, "Can you send me a picture?" Okay, I got him the picture. Oh, those are for Jack White.
Yeah, we all know. Memo went out amongst all electricians. We all know. Dude, this blue triple graph is out of control cool. Like this is
the one I can't show.
Yeah, the one Justin can't show in the get in Discord, folks. Go scroll up.
At some point we will have them, I'm sure, online. We got a picture of Jack holding all of them in a chair in his office, like a kid at Christmas. So at some point we'll try to get that. I think Olivia Jean has the picture. I have to get it from her, but it's going to be really cool to have. Yeah, so that's a little bit of what's been going on over the last 12 months since Triple Graphs come out. The last thing I touched base on a little bit, in September, Third Man opened their London location, which is really cool. They've been working on that for a while, and they designed a storefront and a live room. Jack performed with a Triple Graph with this 3-piece on the roof in London.
Cool.
which was really cool. So I think he had the blue one for that, actually. And some people on the internet and Reddit and stuff saw it because they're friggin' vultures with a magnifying glass.
Yep. You would be too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Well, hey man, congrats on the last year. That it's been awesome to watch, like from this end. And every time there's like some post or some like a sighting of a Triple Graph, I'm like, oh, I know that guy. Like I could just text him now. That feels so cool. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Let's get into the silly questions that I think mostly came from Brian at the Tone Jerks.
What a jerk!
Actually, the first one that I want to get into is from Andrew, who's a Tone Jerk fan and a Tone Control fan. Can you just introduce us all to Jack White and be like, can we get him on? Just dial him in.
I think I have to go through Jack Black for that.
Jack Black's not allowed on the show after what happened last time.
Right.
Oh no.
So.
Okay. Let's see. I rearranged the questions and I did it in a bad way. I guess there's only the one. Tone Jerks, Bang, Marry, Kill. Brian, Kyle, and Johnny Two Guns, which we talked about briefly before Justin joined, but just for the record.
I came up with that question too, Brian, by the way. But he just loves it.
So like I just want to explain to everybody the funny thing that happened here. We posted on Instagram like, hey, we're recording with Coppersound, send in your questions. The Tone Jerks sends in 2 questions, and then Brian sends in 1 question. Brian of the Tone Jerks. So he changed accounts.
Just hold on a minute. I'll be back.
He changed Instagram's accounts, and that comes in and asks. So he was one that asked about the Coppersound delay. But yeah, Bang, Marry, Kill. Brian, Kyle, or Johnny Two Guns. The hard hitting questions. Doug says Bang Kyle is a gimme.
That's what I said. That's what I said before the show. Bang Kyle is a gimme. And like I said, I think Johnny would be the most okay with him being the kill because he's just so laid back.
Wait, they're okay with it?
I think they're okay with it. I think he's just that in it for the greater good. But then I think somebody mentioned, do I want to live with Brian Gower forever?
Yeah. Yeah, Doug, before we started recording, which is a contender for the title, by the way, do I really want to spend the rest of my life with Brian Gower?
Okay, I'm going to go bang Johnny, kill Brian, marry Kyle.
Oh, Brian.
Thanks for the question, Brian.
Now we know.
Brian's. Wait, so was there 3 questions, or did you just span that over 3 accounts?
He said, let's see. Well, one of them was the delay question. Then there was the Bang, Marry, Kill. And then he
Some
said,
of them are real, I see.
I'm supposed to say, what up, what up, what up, asking the whole room, what up. So what up, room, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand Brian sometimes. I'm going to be honest. Brian, I know you're hearing this.
Yeah.
It's confusing to me.
Just sometimes notch the California back 1 or 2 notches just so that we can understand at all what you're saying.
Yeah, remember that I am from New England. I don't know what you're saying to me. Okay. What else? I think that's kind of that we've covered all the questions. We've covered the history of the Triple Graph in the last year.
Yeah.
So is there anything you want to like send us off with for episode 199, Alex? Where can people buy a Triple Graph today?
So Third Man Store is like the main place that people can get them. We also now
right friggin' here at coppersoundpedals.com.
Yeah, so the Coppersound website, the product's website, will actually lead you right to the checkout, I think, for Third Man Store, because they're sold directly through Third Man. We don't sell them. There are a couple people, though, as well, that will sell them. We have a few here in the U.S. So we've got Martel Music Store. We have Guitar Pedal Shop. We also have Boston Guitar. And we have Eastside Music in Nashville has them.
Matt's Music.
Matt's Music has them. There's a ton of others. These are the ones that had the largest stock. So if you go on our website to buy one from these guys had like upwards of 50 on order.
Wow.
So we have a pre-order thing set up with one of their distribution workers. So we'll hit up Cam at Third Man, and essentially he'll compile a list that we share of like, hey, during this next batch, this many go to each person. So he'll do the distribution side of things. So there's plenty of other dealers like in this country and other countries. You can also get them at Third Man Cass Corridor, which is a section of Detroit. And there's plenty of other ones that we're working on right now in like Germany, France, the UK. I think at some point Chicago Music Exchange is on the list for the next batch.
Yeah, I think I saw it on their website.
Yeah, so we have a ton in the pipeline for this next release, which we're hoping is maybe in a month or so, like a next batch, because they have 1,500 on order, but we have to essentially figure out what we're going to allocate to between retail and distribution. But people can just follow us online, follow them. We try to be very helpful if we can for like email blasts, updates, stuff like that. And essentially you can find them in most places. It's less scarce than it was at the beginning when they were on eBay for one kidney.
Awesome. Well, cool, man.
We've, thanks a lot. We've been ending the show lately with these suggestions of the week, which are random stuff that aren't necessarily guitar related. And I'm saying that in case you want to come up with one in the time it takes us to go over ours. And so thought I would jump in real quickly. Derek, is it time for suggestions of the week?
It is.
All right. I haven't played any music stabs this time, just because of the nature of the show. So, all right, that's the loaf from Big Ear.
The loaf.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that in here now so I don't forget what I played. Anyway, so your suggestion of the week.
My suggestion of the week is guitar related, music related. Reverb.com just introduced what they're calling the collections feature, a collections page.
Is there a site for this that you want to link to, or?
No, because it's part of your individual Reverb account.
Oh, no wonder I couldn't find it.
Yeah, so what you do is when you buy something on Reverb, because I just bought this fuzz pedal the other day that'll be here tomorrow, it said, would you like to add this to your collection? And I was like, what is that? Sure, click. And so what you can do now is add your gear collection to Reverb, stuff that you've bought via Reverb or elsewhere.
So it's like you as a public figure, sort of.
I think it's private, like to my account. But what it does is it tracks the value of your collection based on Reverb sales and metrics. So it tells you, right? So you
I see
load
the
up
game now.
yeah, you load up everything you have, and it tells you your collection is worth, between this dollar amount and this dollar amount. And that fluctuates based on what Reverb is selling that gear for. And you can go in and be like, well, I have a Vox AC30. And then like, well, which one? Because there's a million of them, right? So you'd choose like the year range, and then if it's a special color, and then if it's got special speakers, and you narrow it down. And you can say how much you paid for it, which it uses to factor in the value. And it'll tell you if it's gone up in value or down since you've purchased it. And then if you want to sell anything in your collection, you just click sell this item and it populates a post for you, and you can just easily publish from there. So they're encouraging you to like maintain your gear collection on this, reverb.com collections page with photos and like descriptions and what makes your gear unique, what makes this version of the pedal that you have special. So like I have the Santa Fe edition Walrus Audio Ages, right? So you could put that in there. Like the thing that makes this one special is it's the Santa Fe one. Or if you had the original KTR, it's got the original diodes, right? And you could do all that kind of stuff. And then if you're like,
this is like an epic data grab. Like this is a sniper shot in Web 3.0 or whatever we're in right now. I can't believe what I'm hearing right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I can, but I can't.
Right. And so, of course, I'm there like, I'll add my stuff. I wonder how much my collection's worth, which is the last information you want to know.
Well, I was about to say this is going to lead to spousal sabotage.
That, or just like, ooh, I could sell this. but then like, oh, I've got the money to buy that, right? It helps with the gear turnover, right? Which is what Reverb wants, of course. So
right. Exactly.
it's really clever to plug stuff in, not to sell it, but to just see, oh, this is worth a little more than I thought, or this is worth way less than I thought, you know? So it's a cool thing. And it's kind of, they'll total your whole collection, and you're like, your collection's worth like 5 digits, right? And that's a little alarming. So maybe do that, or maybe don't. It's up to you.
$50.
Your rig is worth $50.
$50. Great job. $50.
So, but you can take a look at it and see, because Reverb also has these buyer's guides that they've had for many, many years, where you can say like, I'm trying to sell a KTR, and you can see the last, 12 months or maybe longer, I'm not sure, of like the price fluctuations of that thing. And you can see if it's a high time or a low time, and what the average asking price and sell prices are and all that stuff. And so this is sort of folded into that. But yeah, you're right. It is a
at least
clear
they're
data
sharing
thing.
the information.
Yeah.
Just keeping it all to themselves.
Yeah. And I think it also, because I was making an offer on a pedal, and now the offer page is a little bit different. It says like, we recommend this offer because that's X% off the top, and like plus shipping, this, that. So they're really dialing in. I think this is the stuff that came from the Etsy acquisition all those years ago now.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So anyway,
right, cool.
That's it. I think it's a cool thing. I mean, I've always kind of wondered, like, I know how much I've spent on gear, right? But I don't know what my gear is worth. And that's a different thing. It's also really hard when you have like 3 guitars that are just parts casters. So you can't really put those in.
Market forces and all that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I wrote down something this week. Quirkle.
What'd you call me?
This is yeah, exactly. This is a tabletop game that we got recently. I don't remember how we got it, but it is simple and complicated at the same time. My daughter can play it with us, but it is still interesting to adults.
Okay.
And we've been playing it a lot. My mom
That's a really fine
can't
line
get
with
enough
games.
of it. It is the kind of thing that was complex enough that my mom was getting her ass handed to her, but she also couldn't stop, and she just kept coming back and kept doing better and better, climbing that ladder. Okay, so what's going on here is it's a sack of little tiles, and there are 6 different symbols, 6 shapes, and 6 colors. And there's 3 of every tile, right? So there's 3 of every color circle.
Okay.
Et cetera, right? On throughout. And basically you make you place tiles out into a sort of a Scrabble-like pattern where everything has to either match the color or match the symbol.
Kind of like a tiled version of Uno, maybe. You're matching color or number.
Oh, okay. I can. Yeah, right. You're matching either or and sort of playing on what's there, and then you get points for the lines you play in. So not necessarily like you could sometimes play 1, but if you're playing the 5th in a line, you get 5 points.
Got it.
Okay, and so then you just build up, and your scores just accumulate until all of them are. All the tiles are used, and then you get the super bonus for being the 6th. You get a Quirkle if you get all 6 colors or all 6 of a symbol, or you know what I mean, in a row. So basically, all 6 symbols or all 6 colors in any particular line, and end up with some pretty wild looking boards. So that's it. It's literally that simple. I don't know why I'm scrolling around on this page.
That's cool.
Show a better picture. This is like how it might come out looking when you're kind of done with it.
So it has a little bit of that plan ahead.
Yeah, and you'll end up with these spaces that can't be played in because you can't put any more squares in that row because it's going to touch something that it can't touch no matter what, right? And so you end up building out and you can exchange your tiles if you want to, just like in Scrabble. And so anyway, it's super replayable. My daughter can play it. She's 6. She also loves to get out the tiles and she makes up stories with them. They take on personalities. I think being 6 is a superpower. But things just have they're talking to each other, and I'm in the other room and she's in there like there's like a whole anyway.
It's a whole
Quirkle,
narrative.
It's fun. What is this? It can't be expensive. What's this go for?
Let's see.
They don't show me on Board Geek, do they?
Quirkle.
Anyway, Quirkle.
From Amazon, it's $25.
Yeah, there you go. Tons of fun.
Target also $25 if you don't want to pay Jeff Bezos. Eric says 400. Oh, wait. We're talking about games, not pedals.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Alex,
Quirkle,
game
check it
time
out.
decision. Do you have a suggestion of the week? Is it the triple graph?
It's a little known pedal from last year. Yeah, and I didn't prepare anything. And the first thing that came to mind was, I guess something that I really am enjoying right now is the new Angels and Airwaves record.
Ah,
So that's kind of that would be my suggestion. It's on pace for my favorite record of the year.
oh wow.
Very
On
enjoyable,
pace.
pretty dancey, pretty fun. It's got Elon Rubin on drums. Cool. And I'm just really, I don't think I've had a record that I can remember in the last years, like, of listening to music that I've found myself listening to 4 or 5 times a day.
Whoa.
Which is kind of, it's cool. Usually when I'm listening to a new record, I'll listen the next day. I'll listen to it a few times and then I'll put it away for a little bit and come back. But this one, I'm like spinning it as soon as it's over and really enjoying it. My buddy of mine actually had an extra ticket, so I'll be seeing them Wednesday. So
Oh, sick.
that's
Very
my
rad.
little suggestion.
A good
man.
suggestion.
Thank you.
This is a fun one. Hey, should we
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to the Tone Control or watching on YouTube or whatever it is that you've been doing. Thanks, Alex, for joining us in this square right here, and thanks for the great test run on 3-camera tone control because
Yeah.
I've never done this before, and turns out my computer can basically handle it. So, anyway, so if you're not a member of Discord, what the fuck's the matter with you?
You're fucking up.
You're fucking up. Come on to Discord. It's totally free. You can find us at discord.io/tone control. That's a quick link right there for you, and you'll get in there, and it's totally free and awesome. If you want to become a supporter of the show, you can see us on patreon.com/thetonecontrol. And there you can become a supporter. And for just $1 a month, we can hook you up with our ever-loving thanks. What? Oh, God, he did it again. Okay. If you want to support the show for $2 or more per month, you will become a super duper special role in Discord called The Royal We, which gets you access to the secret channel where Alex shared all of his super secret photos. And you get to join and listen in live on the show and heckle us and put butts in the chat and stuff like that. Our supporters this episode include. Hold on.
I'm kind of losing
I
it
can
here.
do it. Okay, I was making sure. Derek's helping me out.
Yeah, I got you.
Carson Ricketts, Nick Greenwood, Timmy S., Matthew Fenslaw, Rice and Wolf, Jamie Evans, Jeffrey Wright, Doug King, Doug Gann, Righteous, Ryan Johnson, Steve Huffman, Jonas Sabatini. That's the one I screw up, of course. Cindy Clawford, Andrew Walsh from Andrew's Alcove, OG friend of the show, Brian Rizzi, Doug Christ of 37 Effects, Sean Wright of Lollygagger Effects, Brian Gower, and Kyle McIntyre of the Tone Jerks podcast. Thank you all ever so much for supporting the Tone Control.
Yes. And if you're not following Coppersound on Instagram and everywhere else, go fix that. They're a good follow. They have all kinds of cool posts and cool gear, and you should buy all of it.
You should. You should.
You should.
Also, we have been putting it at the start of the show and we forgot for some reason, but episode 200, which is next episode, 2 weeks from now, we will be recording in the open channel in Discord. So all Discord members, not Patreon required, will be open to joining us. We have a special guest planned for that episode as well. It's going to be episode 200. It's going to be fun. Please come and check it out and find out what you've been missing. If you're not a Patreon supporter, that's going to be next Do you know the date?
It is
Off the top of
October
your head?
28th. And listen up, guys. That's the
Thursday,
day before my
October
birthday. Okay. October 28th is the day before my birthday. So you better be
So,
there. Like, do this for me. Okay. This is going to be a
better
lot
do
of fun. We're going to hopefully be announcing the guest in the next few days. So, yeah, keep your ears peeled. I don't know.
All right. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, everybody, for listening. See
Thank you.
you later.
Bye.